efforts in working in partnership with people like Mass MEP, Quinsigamond Community College, and Central Mass Workforce Investment Board. And we're very pleased and thankful that Leslie Grace and Kinefac Corp., a chamber member business and a manufacturer here in the region, an important one, has agreed to host us this morning and share with us a little bit about what they're doing here and how they're working to build career pathways in manufacturing. And you know, we have 2,300 members in the Chamber of Commerce, and the single biggest issue that we hear from our members, regardless of the size of the sector they're in, but in particularly in manufacturing, is the need for the talent turnpike, that workforce development, because many people who've been working in manufacturing are aging out over the next 5 to 6 years, and it's critically important that we have an all-hands-on-deck approach to encouraging young people and to encouraging people who are thinking about new careers to think about manufacturing in that regard.
There's about 250,000 people that work in manufacturing. Manufacturing represents about 10% of the GDP, about $40 billion here in Massachusetts. But an interesting note, and this is why I think manufacturing continues to be a very, very important part of our economy, is because there's something called the multiplier effect. And the multiplier effect says for every job we have in manufacturing, it creates 2 to 3 other jobs in the economic ecosystem. So it's vital, right? And it's important to keep going. Leslie put up her last slide and said we're hiring. So I know a lot of people. Manufacturers are hiring, and just about every industry is hiring. There are people that are available, but they're not qualified. And that's where we have, you know, the WIBs, we have the community colleges, and people like Mass MEP, and certainly people like Leslie who do their own internal training. It's a high demand right now for our manufacturers to get skilled, qualified people into their shops soon. And the manufacturers are not asking for degreed people necessarily, but they're looking for work readiness, right? QCC knows that. That's a basic element of getting in the door, knowing that you have to show up on time. And many other cultural and just the right things to do to be polite and courteous with each other. But the technical side, there's a gap. So the high schools do a really good job getting kids prepared, most of them for college. But not every kid goes to college. So what we're trying to do is create a pathway for somebody who wants to go into manufacturing to come into the program, get basic skills for manufacturing, which would include workforce readiness. It would include things like basic shop math, blueprint reading, how to use instruments to measure parts, gauges, things like that. These programs are not something most people go to college for. And there's a handful of these programs that Mass MEP provides. Our folks that go through these programs get tested, credentialed, and they have to meet a certain level of performance in order to go on and get their credentialing.
We do everything here, but we sell our machines around the world. We're in over 25 different countries. Based here in Worcester, design, engineering, assembly, manufacturing. We do sell around the world. We have a sales office in Shanghai, India, and a new effort in Monterrey, Mexico. The machines that we make are bought by companies in all sorts of industries. I just mentioned the steering columns and alternator shafts that go into all kinds of cars and trucks, automotive, but aerospace, power generation, medical devices you've seen, railroad appliance. So not far from you in every given day is a Kinefac part. But we couldn't do this without a great team and without great technology. And both our team and our innovation has been rewarded with various awards from both our peers and from industry. We're pretty proud of that. But continuing on in the theme, though, we know we need to play a part in supporting manufacturing, and Kinefac has done that pretty proudly. My father was a ferocious advocate for manufacturing and started the National Center for Manufacturing Sciences back in the 80s. And we continue that tradition on, being very active, trying our best to support manufacturing, both here in Worcester and in the state and nationally.
One of the things that we do, the Workforce Investment Board brings together partners, kind of the stakeholders involved in workforce development. So whether it's the employer side, also educators, organized labor, community groups, everyone in other state agencies that have kind of a role in workforce development, to make sure we're guiding the resources, mostly the public resources that are put into workforce development, to make sure that there's a talent pool that can help companies like Kinefac grow. And so, and we've always seen, since I've been there, thanks in large part to John and his team, what the need is around in the coming wave of retirements in manufacturing, and what that means for our economy if we don't make smart investments in developing the next generation of talent. So, I mean, Leslie, what you're doing here with internships, and I'm struck by how many of your staff start as assemblers and kind of get promoted within, and you invest in them with education. And so that's, if every company did that, I think, certainly here regionally, we would be that much further along. And John, I know you work with a lot of companies to try to tell them that message of, hey, investing in folks, bring them in on, even if you bring them in on the entry level, but helping them move up. And so in the last few years at the board, in partnership with the MEP and QCC and others, I mean, we've made it a priority to invest in manufacturing. And so our work in that sector, we put more than $2.5 million of public resources into supporting manufacturing, training and pathway development. We've trained more than 300 people getting into or moving up in the manufacturing sector. So, and I'm happy to announce, so right now where the board is working with those stakeholders to develop a regional blueprint, a regional plan for workforce development.
And we've got 4 key areas that we are teaching in the technology sector, and one is the pure engineering and biomedical engineering classes and stuff like that. That is geared for students who are actually looking at taking their first 2 years with us and transferring to WPI or four-year college. So I find a lot of students take that as an economical source, and we have a good program that actually transfers all the credits to WPI, UMass, and some of the other four-year colleges. And then I teach really in the electronics technology division, which offers students an opportunity to be first-line technicians on the production line or the manufacturing line. And what I see, a lot of my students that go through my class, a lot of them look at IPG photonics, but I'm sure they could work along these lines here. We have a manufacturing technology group that, with the advent of the new Quest building that we have there, which stands for Quinsigamond's Engineering and Science and Technology Center, we have a whole new, what I call the Fab Lab, which we have high-end manufacturing, we have the maker bots. We also have a robotics and manufacturing line that they can actually do mechatronics and create their own assembly line. And it's interesting because it's adjacent to the lab that I'm familiar with, and a lot of times I'm teaching the same time some of the other adjuncts are teaching, and we'll take a break and we'll go into there because we'll watch what they're doing, because it's a pretty interesting pick and place that they're trying to do, or a CNC that they're trying to do in the Fab Lab, or some other kind of technology, manufacturing technology that they're trying to do, which applies in the community around here, which is what we really try to address to. The other one is we also have basically a computer science track where they would go up, the students would go up to do like IT support and install networks and those things. So